Okay, so this is a quick tutorial on how to make decorative books. So I have these little mini books I got at the local library. They have a sale once or twice a year, and they sell these things, little books and all sorts of supplies. So if you have a local library, you can always ask when their big book sale is, and it's a great place to stock up on things for art. So this is what I'm going to show you what we're making today. So here's one of the books I bought. You can see it was 50 cents. Actually, I think it was 10 when I got it. So I like to take the cover off. Now, as far as supplies go, there's all sorts of things you can add to your book. So you can see here I have colored papers. I have stickers in here. I've got threads. I've got foil that I've put in this one. And let's see what else. Oh, stamps. You can also do stamping if you've got some stamps and stamp pads. So I pulled out some supplies that I have in my studio, and you can use, this is an old dictionary, which is great, little words and papers. An old paper map is great to use. I found some music sheets, and then different colored paper. You can use magazines also. So one of the things I also really like to use are decorative napkins. So these were napkins. You can see this one looks a little more like a napkin. And the neat thing about these is when you remove the back, so you can see there's a couple layers here. So I remove this one, but I actually think that there's 3 layers. So some napkins do have 2 layers and some have 3. You've just got to look closely and remove. Sometimes you've got to tear just a little bit more. So I think this one does, but it's going to be a little stubborn. Oh, there it is right there. So you can see this one does have 3 layers. So I like to remove all 3 if I can. Sometimes they have 2, because what happens is this becomes transparent. Okay, so I've got some other supplies. I've got stickers here, and I found some ribbons and even some pattern paper. It's like tissue paper. Okay, so I'm going to turn this down just a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. So you'll need scissors, and a glue stick works just great. So sometimes I like to use like a artist's glaze or artist's matte medium, but for this project a glue stick will also work just fine. In fact, I like using the glue stick when it comes to putting the pages together. So what I like to do is, if it's a pretty thick book, what you'll do is you'll take the first page, and I like to cut out 2 pages. So you'll save the first page, you'll cut out 2 pages, and you can cut out, if you have a pretty big book, sometimes you can cut out 2 or 3 or 4 pages, and you're going to glue one side to the other side. And you can see in here, there's this ridge here where I cut out the pages. And what you're going to do is you're actually going to end up sealing that up by putting these 2 pages together. Okay? And then you're going to skip a page, and then you're going to do the same thing again. So I always leave a little bit of the spine, because sometimes when you cut way close to the spine, what I mean is the spine is this part of the book could fall apart. So I found that this is the best way to do it. It's okay to leave a little bit of an edge after you cut. You can see that's there. And then again, glue your pages together. And then again, save this page, and then cut 2 more. Okay, so once you've got your book pages done, you'll find that you're creating room in your book to add mixed media. So I'm going to do just a couple pages with you so you can see. So I've got some decorative paper here, and I'm going to cut that as best I can, for example, to the size of the page. And again, I find that glue sticks are great. Put down your decorative page. And then you can do it again to this side. But let me show you something that I like to do, because I had mentioned those napkins, which are really fun. So this is where you may need some like Mod Podge or a little bit of this artist grade gloss medium or gloss varnish. So if you put a little bit down here, and then what happens is, with these decorative napkins, this is why they're so fun, you put this down, and actually, they become transparent. So the background and what's underneath, whoops, and you can see that it becomes, they're fragile because we've removed the back. But you can see here, some of those diamonds are showing through. So it becomes transparent, which is kind of fun. So maybe a better example would be like, for instance, this paper here, if I was to put a little bit of the glue down and I was to put this on top, you can see, got a little extra glue there, it becomes transparent. So what's behind the napkin here starts to kind of show through. So you can create these layered designs, which I just love. All right, so then what I like to do is I like to do things like, once you've got your book set up, you can add things like stickers to make it personal. Ooh, that little E fell apart, but that's okay. And then if you cut little pieces of paper, this is one of the ways you can start to add things like these different decorative ribbons. Of course, I'd put a little bit of glue on here. And then you can press it over your ribbons, and of course you're going to have to let that dry. And you can start to create these really pretty decorative books. Now, as you get going here, so this is a better example here. I've got different colored papers in here. I did stickers like Be Thankful, and then you can also cut little windows. So you can do this with maybe an X-Acto knife. You'd want to put something down on the back side so you don't cut through all the pages, but you can cut little windows, or you can use those punches that put holes in things. They'll cut out circles. And I also found poetry, and I put some words in here. So you can just add things to your book. You can make little pockets, and then I added some papers inside my pockets that had little messages to myself. And then at the end of my strings, as I added different ribbons and colors, I took stickers and I put them at the end of my strings and I glued them together. So you can continue to add, and these are really pretty. You can hang them on your wall. You could start to journal in them if you want to write and do little notes and do mini journaling. There's another example of some stamps that I had and added a little plastic pearls. So look around your house and see what kind of items you have, and you know you can do this with a bigger book. You don't have to have a mini book. Of course, if you do a bigger book, you'll need more mixed media supplies, but that's not really a problem. So yeah, you can do it with any book actually. Okay, well, I hope that you enjoy this craft. If you do make them, send me photos. You can find me on my social media. I'm Facebook a lot, and even Instagram, Becca Watkins Art. I'd love to see what your creations are. So, all right, let's get creative.